As we do. But Tom Kennedy is a heck of a player. He's a favorite amongst fans, amongst the podcast. He's a guy who spent a lot of time working hard to get to where he is. He's fought his way to the top. Tom, can you hear us? Are you with us here? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Kennedy, wide receiver for the Detroit Lions. Tom, so great to have you on the show. And there's a reason for it, right? The whole St. Jude connection.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, so you did your Mike calls my Cleats for St. Jude's. Can you tell us why you chose to do that?
I remember when I think it was even like elementary school, to raise money for it. We did like this like online math computer game. That's how I remember it. But and then it's just a cause that I think just kids and families in really tough situations, stuff that's completely out of their control. So I think that's where I empathize with it. And luckily for me, I haven't had any crazy tragedies. So there's no foundations that hit really close to home for me in my life, luckily. And I know I'm very fortunate for that. But yeah, I just think it's really sad, and it's really tough situations that those kids and those families are in. So anything we could do, like, I appreciate what you guys are doing. Somebody with the Lions came and said you guys are doing this. So I figured it's an easy yes for me to come on. It's awesome what you guys are doing. So I appreciate it.
No, we appreciate you, Tom. I mean, you bring so much to the team. I mean, you talk about grit. Coach talks about it, and it's kind of like the billboard outside of Allen Park right now. But you're a guy who's got it tattooed on any visible and non-visible part of your body. You're not the guy that came out #1 overall and had, I don't want to say it's an easy road, because no one has an easy road, but you've worked really, really hard, and to see these preseasons, how you just like, it's like, oh my God, this guy, he's on top. And then all of a sudden, like, wait, where did he go? Like, why is he on the practice squad? To be able to see you out there this year, and the connection you have with Jared, and the desire to get you that TD, that's really something. That's that hard work. It's going to pay off. And wouldn't it be great to see it happen against Minnesota, division rival, an unlikely kind of set where the Lions are favored in a game against a team with 10 wins, when we're sitting here with 5. This is quite a situation. It's lined up to be that storybook opportunity for you to get that big ball, man.
Yeah, I'm just excited for the game this weekend. Mostly because David Blough is over there, and we've been talking trash this whole week. We're still close.
Good.
I'm looking forward to seeing him, but also looking forward to getting after them a little bit. I know the first time we played, we felt like it was a game that we definitely could have won. So just looking forward to kind of getting back after these guys.
Yeah. So Dan came out this week, your coach Dan Campbell, and talked about how it burned him that a choice that he made might have cost the team a win. Is that sort of the perception that you guys had, or was it like,
I think
sports long enough to know that it's not really like that? But was that something that you wanted to hear anyways?
Not really. I mean, he could have said, yeah, the players didn't play well enough, and I would have said, yeah, he was right. As an offensive guy, I thought offensively we had a chance to end the game or kind of put him away multiple times late in the game, and we weren't able to do so. So just basically the unit that I contribute on and I, am with, I always try to think like, what could we have done better? Stuff that's in our control. So, I mean, I don't think there were any decisions that he made that cost us the game. Like at the end of the day, the players are the ones, going out there executing. And so
you've had a lot of coaches to get to this point and played for a lot of different leaders. And Dan Campbell is a different kind of cat. He's, at least, from any of the leaders that I've had in my life, I haven't had one like Dan. I've had other types of leaders that fit in that mold of coaches. What's the thing about Dan that you like the most as a coach?
I would say he's just authentic. He is who he is, and he doesn't try to be anything different. I think that's what all the players appreciate about him. He's very genuine. the stuff that he says, the stuff that's like quotable and funny, like that's just who he is. He's not trying to be funny. He's not trying to, say something that everybody remembers. It's just who he is. So I think the guys really appreciate that. And he's also very, very smart when it comes to football. Like, I don't know if people realize that. I know he has the persona of this like big dude, like meathead guy, but he's very, very smart. There's a reason he's the head coach in the NFL.
We were talking to Mike Furry earlier, former wide receiver for the Lions, played with him in Detroit for 2 years. And he talked about him as the guy that will just outwork anybody. Nobody liked playing against him when he was a tight end. He may not have been the fastest. He may not have been this, that, or the other thing, but he was the guy that would outwork everybody. And it seems like that's very much the kind of a coach he's become. I mean, people often underestimate guys like that, but he talks about the grit and that whole thing. And it seems like the team really understands and starting to really get that. Put it in, and do it right, and it'll come, because you don't have to be the first overall pick. You can still perform at a super high level, and you can be wildly successful in the league if you just put in the time and understand what you're supposed to do. Does that kind of feel like where Dan comes from?
I think he definitely preaches, the hard work and stuff like that. But he doesn't kill us. Luckily, like he makes sure we're all right for game day.
Sure.
He's smart about taking care of us, but also there's like a happy medium of taking care of your guys, but also getting in the work that you need to get in. So, you get stuff full speed throughout the week. So, what it's going to look like on Sunday, or what you want it to look like on Sunday. So he does a really good job of that, in my opinion.
So you're in the wide receiver room. I don't dare say it hasn't been this healthy yet. Is that how excited are you guys to have, DJ at full speed finally, and Josh back, and Jameson on the outside? That's just got to be an incredible way to go through practice.
Yeah, we joke about it. We got like, I think 10 guys right now. It feels like training camp, because that's usually like a 10 or 11. That's the amount that you have during camp. So yeah, it seems like everybody has kind of gotten healthy and gotten healthy at all the same time. So it's weird, because it's like, man, we got all these guys, but it's good,
Yeah. There's something we've wanted to talk about and cover for a couple of years now, because it's the untold story. The guys that spend their time, a lot of time on the practice squad, and the guys that play every Sunday get all the noise, but these guys are working just as hard and playing their hearts out and working their hearts out to get that opportunity. Can you tell me what's the one or two things that people don't really know or understand about life on the practice squad for the guys that are kind of living that grind?
You have the same schedule, the same everything as the guys on the active roster. You just don't play on Sunday, unfortunately.
Wow.
But you practice just as hard, or if not harder. You got the same amount of lifts, if not more lifts. I mean, you're in all the meetings. You're expected to know all the stuff in the game plan. God forbid somebody goes down, you got to be able to be brought up and go in the game and execute, and not have a huge drop off. So,
do you think there's a difference between the last staff and the current staff and how they utilize the practice squad? Because from an outside looking in, it truly feels like the practice squad is more of an extension of the roster with this group of coaches.
I think since COVID hit, I think the practice squad went from 10 to 16.
Yep.
So it bumped up whatever, 60%. And then you're able to have those practice squad elevations. So the movement from practice squad to active roster, there's a lot more of that than there was in the past. So what you guys are saying is probably true, but it's also true because of the circumstances and the rules that have changed.
Yeah. Is just to go back to it, is there anybody, like, we know we heard about how James Houston he was beating Panay all the time in practice. Is there any defensive player that you guys notice as a wide receiver or as an offense is like, man, this guy's giving us a lot of trouble out here in the practice squad and can do more? Is there anybody like that on the roster right now?
Nobody that comes to mind, but again, it's tough for me to say. I mean, just like I'm in meetings, we're focusing on the stuff that we're trying to work on. but in the DB room or in different rooms, they might be praising a guy. I'm not too sure. I'm not in those conversations. I don't want to not give somebody credit, but nobody off the top of my head.
Sure. What's this question from the folks in the chat? And now remember, we're doing this for charity. We're gonna keep it clean. What's some of the best trash talking you've heard on the field?
I don't know. I really haven't heard much. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I don't have
No, that's
any
okay. That's all right. When I see people out there, John, half the time it seems like it's complimentary in a way, and it's not derogatory, and then other times it's like, oh, that guy's eyes, I can see something is being said.
Majority of it is playful, and it's not playful, but it's not from a place of like extreme disrespect.
Sure.
You're not saying something nice to the guy, but you're not, you don't hate the guy.
Yeah.
You probably get a few times where there's some bad blood from past years or past games, and you get some guys who have who say some stuff that is probably a little bit worse, but I haven't experienced it too much. I don't hear a lot of stuff when I'm out there. I kind of block stuff out and just.
That's because you're a renowned trash talker, right, Tom? I'm just putting silly stuff out there. So
yeah.
I'll go ahead, Riz.
You go.
All right. So when you're out there, you're looking. You're playing Minnesota this week. You guys are practicing for a game this is a really big game for the team, right? I mean, it feels like one of the bigger ones of the season. You've got 4 out of the last 5. The Buffalo game was a heartbreaker, but it feels like as a player base, you can feel the energy and the achievement ramping up as you come into this Minnesota game. What do you guys think are some of the keys to come out on top? I'm not looking for any strategic stuff, but what do you think is, as players and getting ready for this game mentally, what are some of the keys that you're trying to bring into this game?
I think just taking care of the stuff that we can control, and also understanding. I think we played a great game against Jacksonville last Sunday, but also kind of knowing that in the NFL it's week to week. Like, really doesn't matter what you did last week. So kind of just being able to put that to bed and being able to handle success and going back to work this week, having a good week of practice, and just kind of putting the game plan together, studying the game plan, and just knowing what we want to do against this team, and not getting too high because we've won a few games in the past few weeks. So
I know we're getting close to time here, so I want to get one more question in. The difference in catching balls from Matthew Stafford to Jared Goff. It feels like Jared throws a little bit more of a catchable ball, and Matthew sometimes wanted to take your arms with takes down another 10 yards from where your shoulders were. What as a wide receiver, how do you adjust to the difference between those two quarterbacks?
I don't think there's a huge difference. I think Stafford could definitely like step on it and put a lot of zip on it, but he wouldn't, at least in my experience, he wouldn't do that unless he felt like he had to, if it was a tight window.
Sure.
But I mean, I've been in situations in a tight window when JG kind of like steps on one and has to really fit it in there. And it's like, maybe he doesn't do it as often. I don't know from an outsider's perspective, but he's got a strong arm. Like
he's got some zip, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That was the first thing I noticed in the practices when I saw him. I'm like, his arm's stronger than you think it is, isn't it?
It was just that Matthew had this whistle, like at training camp every year when that ball would fly. It had this different kind of whistle as it sailed through the air. He could chuck that ball hard, and it just sounded different. It was interesting. But I know, Tom, I know we're close to time. I want to thank you so much for joining us. I mean, loved your cause, your cleats. I mean, obviously we're aligned with the St. Jude piece. A lot of folks, they really benefit from this. I mean, families don't pay a dime. Taking care of kids, helping do the research to cure these cancers and help these families out. You
were getting a ton of love in our chat section too. You got a lot of fans out here, so thanks for joining us with that.
I don't know what I did. I feel I get that vibe that fan favorite. I don't know what I did to deserve that, but I appreciate it. All the fans, I appreciate you guys.
You came to Detroit and worked hard, man. That's who we are.
Yeah, that's what you got to do. We just talked to Mike Furry about that. He's like, if you work hard in this town, people are going to love you, and you definitely work hard. I see you out there at training camp. I see you in practice from time to time. You are always giving your all every time, and that's all we can ask from you. So thanks for that.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me, and thank you guys again for doing this. I think it's awesome. The cause, like I said earlier, it's just, I really appreciate it. And I know everybody who's involved they appreciate it as well. So thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Tom. Good luck this week.
Tom.
Stay healthy.
Thank you.
Get more than one. Get 10 more TDs this year, brother.